Episode 269 of the TV Dudes, recorded January 29th, 2020. Musical Chairs.
So this is the episode where our recording's going to suck because we're going to keep getting up and switching mics.
Right. Whenever there's a music cue, we will stand up and walk around, and then we'll.
That's the
when you hear that, that's what that is.
That's the gimmick of this episode that we're going to be doing.
No, we're not actually playing musical chairs.
I've started the other studio recording as well. We're going to run back and forth between the rooms.
These are all ideas that would be fun for us.
Yes, the spoiler room over there.
So we're going to be talking about shows that have a musical component. Well, a couple of them have a musical component, and the other two are more about sex.
But we're not going to talk about the shows. We're going to sing about them.
Nope.
Except for the sex show.
Liturgical dance.
Do something else.
We're going to have sex about it. Yeah.
We're going to have sex about that show.
No, this time out we're talking about the preview episode of Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, which is on Hulu, which premieres in February. We're going to catch up on Bradley Whitford and Anna Camp and the rest at Perfect Harmony, also on Hulu, which both of these are technically NBC shows, but they're Hulu shows. Who has NBC anymore?
That other network.
Eventually there'll be Peacock shows, right?
Yeah, there'll be Peacock shows. You're probably right. Then we're going to check in on Shrill Season 2, which is actually a Hulu show. That was a favorite that I know Les and I were both really looking forward to Season 2 of.
Wait, so that's not IFC? That's actual Hulu?
That's actual Hulu.
That is a Hulu original.
Man. And then we're going to talk about the second season of Netflix's Sex Education.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are the TV Dudes. And as always, want to say a thank you to our Patreon subscribers who help us keep up with all these streaming networks like Hulu and Netflix, which we watched this time out and would not have been able to without y'all's help. So thank you very much. If you want to be a patron, you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes and throw us $1 an episode. That really helps us out. And that helps us keep our streaming services up, our web hosting up. If you want to donate a little bit more, you can become a contributor, and you can then send us audio clips about your favorite show that we will put into the episode. You can find all the details on that over at patreon.com/tvdudes. All right, guys, let's dive right into the TV shows.
Now, earlier, did you call that Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist?
It's Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist.
I thought it was Zoey's Infinite Playlist.
I thought it was too, but I double-checked it.
It's
Zoey's
Extraordinary
movie.
Playlist.
That's Nick and Nora's
Infinite Playlist.
And that's what was confusing me too.
Okay.
I've never seen the movie.
Yes.
Oh, I
and
love
a nod
that
back to
movie.
the Thin Man, too.
So yeah, this is Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, which
And this is Zoe Kravitz?
it is not Zoe Kravitz.
No, that's going to be the High Fidelity
She's in
remake,
High Fidelity.
which will also be on Hulu.
The trailer for that looks great.
Oh,
by
it looks
the way.
fantastic. I'm really
super excited about it. So, Kyle, you didn't get a chance to check this one out, right?
Haven't
So
checked it out yet.
YouTube is trying its damnedest to get everyone to watch this first episode for free. It advertised it on everything I've seen on YouTube in the last week has tried to. And they put
Did
the whole
Hulu do a
40
big ad buy or something?
They put the whole 45-minute episode is the ad.
What?
So like when you watch the little clock that's like 3, 2, 1, skip ad, it's 44,
that
53, 44, 52, 44, 50.
That's
They did
crazy.
that with Lego Movie 2. There was an ad, and Chris Pratt goes, whoa, don't turn off the ad. If you just stay on here, we'll let you watch the first Lego movie for free. And then it plays the entire Lego movie.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So that's how this. Hulu included it for free as well, where you could just watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube is literally it is an ad that is 45 minutes
you
long.
can watch this on YouTube by accident.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
That was one long trailer, man.
So I really liked this.
It's got. Is it Jane from Suburgatory?
Jane from Suburgatory is the lead, yes.
Who she was great. I liked her in the Evil Dead remake. She's just.
I thought you were going to
wonderful.
say Jane from that Virgin show.
What's it called? What's her name?
Jane Levy as Zoe Clark. And then Skylar Astin is like
Yes.
the male lead, and he's from Pitch Perfect, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend,
Yeah.
Ground Floor. He's great. He's another guy who can really sing. And then Peter Gallagher plays her dad, who's in this sort of medical coma, basically.
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
And Mary Steenburgen plays her mom,
Yep.
who's just trying to get by as her husband is in this weird neurological disease. Also, Lauren Graham plays her boss. I fucking love Lauren Graham.
So by the end of this episode, I really like this show, and I can't wait for another one.
Yeah.
I like these actors, and I like the premise. I like the sing. It's got a little bit of an Eli Stone vibe.
Yeah. Mhm.
Kind of fanciful. Is this really happening? But it's all helping her solve her world. And I'm really digging it. When it started this episode, though, the tone is so weird.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
It veers between like this shit's really happening, and Jane Levy has a very like, will you stop being fanciful
Yes.
kind of face
Yeah,
about
yeah.
her, and so it was just really odd. Like she just keeps kind of getting dragged into these crazy musical numbers suddenly, and you can. It reminded me of Drama Town. There's a thing on Netflix where a girl like gets bonked on the head and basically wakes up in Korean soap opera drama.
Okay. Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, and it kind of has that same like, is this happening? And I kind of wanted it to slip into that, and Zoe is not that show.
No.
And so it took me 15 or 20 minutes of watching this episode of like, I like all these people, so I'm going to stick with this, but I really hope they figure out which show they want to be.
Yeah. I think one of the things I liked about this is that, and I think the reason I realized I liked it, and I don't love it. This is definitely not like oh wow, you guys have to watch
Yeah,
this.
I'm not there yet, but
But as pilots
It
go,
could get
comedy
there.
pilots are hard. But I think what made me realize is I saw every plot twist coming a mile away, and I still enjoyed it.
mhm.
Like there was no part of me that didn't see. I'm like, oh, okay. Skylar Astin's character is secretly in love with her. Her dad is going to once she can read these thoughts, her dad is going to speak to her through song.
Yeah, you
Like,
know immediately
know
how this is going to pay off for
that
her.
she's going to get the job. Something's going to give.
She's going to figure out her stance.
You
and
see
then where
all
she-
this
yeah.
stuff. You see it all coming. Despite that, when Peter Gallagher stands up behind her, starts singing True Colors to her, that was really effective and very moving.
And I kind of had wondered. It took me a minute to realize why they would get Peter Gallagher.
Mm-hmm.
Like why or why cast an actor really at all, and
For
not,
this part,
for
where
this
yeah,
part.
and not just have her dad be dead.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
or just pay some
Wouldn't that-
schmo to lay
wouldn't-
there quietly.
Wouldn't it have been way better if it was some guy you never heard of who just got up and had this beautiful singing?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I'll be honest, by casting a name actor that I recognize, you made me expect that you were going to do something with him,
Yeah.
in a flashback, and so
Mhm.
you knew that was going to pay off. But like
Kind
you
of like
said,
on Law and Order when you see like a famous
Oh,
person.
Yes,
yeah.
in the
exactly.
first-
You're like,
You
oh, that's
fucking
the
did it.
murderer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it pays off really nicely. And then at the end, when they go on the boat and he like squeezes Mary Steenburgen's hand again, it shouldn't have worked because you see it
No.
all coming a mile away, but it really
but that
works.
room got real dusty for
Yeah.
me when I was
Mhm.
watching.
Same.
Those sons of bitches.
Same thing. And I love a sitcom that can actually get me in that way. That can actually give me a little real emotional resonance too. And I feel like this could do that. Also, the musical numbers, while I'm not quite sure what the rules are because these people follow her around for dance learners and then just wander back off in their lives, I'm not sure how the rules work on this, what's hallucination and what's not.
I really want to see what she can reach out and touch and what is not there.
I want an episode where we see the person who is late for his meeting because he suddenly is across town and doesn't remember doing anything, but he was in a song and dance number for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good.
I would love if they do
There was
that.
a moment, 3 seasons into iZombie or 4 seasons when they finally
Yeah.
showed you from the other side.
Yeah.
That everybody else just has to stand there and like kill 5 minutes while you stare into space and have a flashback.
Yeah, yeah,
And oh, is she doing it again?
yeah. I
Like, love
want
that.
to. I want to see that flip side. I don't know that they'll do it. I'm not sure this is that kind of show,
But
but
Yeah.
it'd be fun for me if they did. I love her weird like startup workspace that she's at.
I like her across the hall neighbor. Who really does play music really loud. So there are several moments of like, is this happening to me still?
Or is there just music? That's Alex Newell playing Mo, her gender ambiguous neighbor. Which, by the way, credit for that. I did
Mhm.
not see that they were doing that, but that's kind of cool. And I love that character. I
Yeah.
thought she
Yeah,
did,
she's
did a
great.
really good job with it.
Or they're great.
Yeah, it's a really good. And the guy John Clarence Stewart as Simon, her new like crush who's got a wife or
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
like there's a couple surprises in here. There are a couple things I did not see coming, and I like the whole cast. I like the premise. I don't know how much legs it's got.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. I was thrown that the pilot is out there and they got us all into it, and then
Yeah.
it's a few weeks until we can see another episode.
Yeah. And they must really think they have something here because that's a big swing.
That's a weird thing to do, I thought.
But I gotta say, I'm definitely gonna watch the second episode. I want to know what this show looks like now that I know what the pilot looks
Yes.
like.
Exactly. They did a
so-
great job on the pilot. I want to know what the show looks like.
Who knows? I mean, it may be that the whole thing falls on its face 3 episodes in.
You know how they have penultimates?
Yeah.
What are we going to start calling the second episode? Like, if the pilot's its own thing,
Yeah.
then what's the pin pilot?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you call it. So let's pivot over to Perfect Harmony. Oh, you have an idea? Kyle?
Co-pilot.
Co-pilot.
Change approved.
There we go.
Let's pivot over to Perfect Harmony over on NBC.
Good co-pilot episode.
Or Hulu. This is Bradley Whitford, Anna Camp, and a variety of people. Kyle, Les, you interviewed
Gino Seeger.
Gino Seeger, who has he have the
He's, Wayne.
deep voice.
No, sorry, Dwayne.
Dwayne. Yes. This is it's a small town church. Bradley Whitford is a
The
liberal
second first
elitist,
church of the
second
Cumberland?
first church in Cumberland, Kentucky. Is it?
Yes, Kentucky.
And Bradley Whitford's character, we talked about the pilot way back when. Bradley Whitford's character is this sort of liberal elite who wound up stuck here after his wife dragged him back and then she died. And now he was just going to kind of kill himself. And now he's wound up involved in this sort of church choir.
Something you said about Zoe, about how you saw every twist coming, but
Yeah.
it didn't matter. You still enjoyed the ride. That's Perfect Harmony for me.
It is, yeah, for sure.
The character reminds me a lot of the main character in AP Bio,
Yeah.
except a little more likable
Yes.
because we liked Bradley Whitford before the show.
Yeah.
Like I want to call him Dennis. We had just seen that actor do like the Dennis part
The
before
worst
that.
character, yeah.
Yeah, so we had no likability. And then when they tried, yeah.
Well, also in AP Bio, I think he never quite he sort of starts to like the kids, but it's a real like being dragged into it. Bradley Whitford, his character, despite himself, likes these characters pretty quickly. Like his character likes all these guys.
Yeah.
Even if he makes fun of them constantly, he definitely cares about them.
And I come to like, he's going to be picked from The Magicians for me.
Oh, yeah.
But
I can't remember that actor's name either, but
yeah, the guy that's
The pastor of
Reverend
the
Jax,
church.
Pastor Jax.
Oh,
Reverend Jackson.
Rizwan
Reverend
Manji.
He's great. Like it just
yeah.
gets weirder and weirder. Their Bollywood Christmas thing with his weird ass missionary parents.
I love that.
episode.
His backstory of this is a running gag I will never get tired
Oh,
of.
God, the
movie
movies.
titles.
Yes.
The religious
If Rosemary
movie
had
titles.
just had her baby, none of this would have happened.
Yes. Adams, the woman who's like the rich owner of the diner, and her husband. You guys are caught up, right? You've
Yeah.
seen last.
Yeah,
We're all
Keith.
caught up.
Keith, that
Who's
payoff
not
with
dead?
Keith, who's like he turns out he went off to live his own life, and she was covering for him. I did not see that particular twist coming.
They bring in, I'm blanking on the actor's name, Steve Talley, as her contractor, maybe boyfriend.
Yeah,
Loved that.
yeah,
Now that's
Yeah.
he plays frat douche in a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And he's done some commercial work. He's one of those comedic actors that I try to keep an eye out for because at some point someone's going to realize how good Steve Talley can be. The dude can be really fucking funny, and I was thrilled to see him pop up on the show.
Yeah, and I like his character quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I thought that whole arc, especially the episode where he's introduced, I thought that was believable. I feel like if you were in that situation, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, Anna Camp is so bad at flirting. God, she's hysterical. But
I love Anna Camp in this. I love
Yes.
her eager to please.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing with the interviews that goes on, her eager to please, which switches on a dime to tired of your shit, which would happen if you were married to a guy like Wayne.
That's the thing. So, like, back to the scene before where I forget his name, but the guy, he set up kind of
Yeah.
a blind date with her. It's not that she's not attractive or
No.
that you wouldn't want to go flirt on her.
No.
But if Wayne was around, you'd be like, no thanks.
No, your
I'm not
judgment
even
is
gonna-
clearly suspect.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, I don't want to know what's going to happen if I talk to you
Yeah.
in the proximity of him.
So-
these crazy fucks. Yeah.
Will Greenberg as Wayne, that is a character I should loathe. He's so terrible. Like, he's a deadbeat. He's always getting in her business. He's like,
He's somehow making Dale Gribble likable, though.
but he's so great. Yeah, I love him.
It's because he doesn't have to do. He does the smallest thing, and it redeems you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
he's a sweetheart.
Yeah. I love that character, and I think that the relationship they've built between those two characters as like likable exes, like I believe it. I buy into it.
And which brings us to, I think, one of the stars of this. Whenever we have shows like this, especially like the NBC, ABC,
Yep.
if you get a good child actor in there, you have got me.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're kids.
And they
Spencer
gotta
Alpert
go.
playing
Yep.
Cash. The episode where it's the best boy in
Oh,
town.
talent
God, yes.
competition.
And they bring in from West Wing
Joshua Malina
Joshua Molina.
as the former best boy or whatever.
I have to go in his place because it's my duty.
I love that Cash is basically the whole time he's playing everybody, including his parents. Like, they think, oh no, he's gonna be crushed if he didn't get this, and like, no, he's basically already betting against
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, he has set all of this up, and like, oh God, when he gets a girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, she is worried about your abilities as a dad. Smart girl.
It's funny because he's an argument against nature versus nurture, because he's not like either one of his parents. He's kind of smarter than both of them.
And then Geno Seeger,
Yeah.
his entire family being meat eating and who won't talk, like barely will speak to him.
Yeah.
like he's the embarrassment wuss of their family.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
One of my favorite moments this season is the telethon episode where people just start asking him to say stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's the
that was.
career I never knew I wanted. Oh yeah, and then God, they just have him. I don't feel good about this anymore.
That is almost too edgy for network TV. I was kind of surprised they did that. They basically get to the fetish of his deep voice.
And at first he doesn't get it, like Jennifer, like where you can tell like he doesn't really understand what's
And then
happening.
later on-
yeah, like say it more stern. No,
Yeah, this show every week it's a fun musical performance or two. The music
Great balance with the musical
Yeah.
performance.
Yes.
It's not too much, and I don't think there's been a dud.
and they're all
yet.
good. That
They
that
do
last
really
one, the
fun-
Ave Maria thing they
oh,
did,
that worked
was super good.
way too well. I actually texted Randy
Yeah.
in the middle of it. I was like, "Holy shit, this Ave Maria thing! How did this work?"
The cast is really good. And like we said at the top of this, it's not that you can't see every twist coming. Like, of course she's not really pregnant. Of course she's not getting the job. Like, there's all these things of like, of course her husband's not actually dead. Like, it's all
Of course, somebody stole his laptop so he would hang out with him all day.
yeah. It's predictable, but in a way that's enjoyable.
Yeah, when I first started watching this show, I watched an episode or two and then took a break because I really wanted this town to be trial and error.
Yeah,
I
you want to
wanted
be like
it
crazy.
to go real crazy
Yeah.
and have like lady driver laws and all sorts of like fucked up shit and like North Peck being east of West Peck.
Yeah.
And like all of that. And it's not that nuts.
No, it's
a
it's
lot
Kentucky.
sweeter.
I mean, yeah.
yeah, they're just making fun of Kentucky.
Yeah, they're
like
just making
this isn't too out there. But there's so much heart, and the
Oh,
musical
yeah.
performances are so sweet. I ended up just falling in love with this ensemble show,
Yeah.
and I'm really hoping that this thing goes long enough to give me enough episodes that this thing can be syndicated, so that a lot of people can discover Perfect Harmony for what it really is great for.
Yeah.
which is going to be that comfort food.
It's comfort food TV.
hundreds of episodes sitcom.
100% comfort food TV. All right, let's move over to something a little more sour, which is Shrill season 2.
So I'm only on the 4th episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Shrill season 1 was such a great, shocking surprise of like, Jesus Christ, Adie Bryant is amazing. How
Oh, yeah.
does she not have a career
She's
beyond
stunning.
SNL? She's
Yeah.
so much better than SNL. That we started watching season 1 and binged it. Like, let's just watch this whole thing tonight. Season 2 didn't grab me quite that
So
way.
I just happened to find a review on Mashable
That doesn't sound like a good start.
that sort of is talking about it being a bit disappointing. And I think Les and I were talking about that off mic a little bit. And Kyle, you've seen what, 4 episodes of this so far? What did you think?
Well, I think it makes complete sense why anyone would find it disappointing to begin with. And it really stinks because I see why they did this, but in the first couple episodes, they completely turned back the season finale. Where, you know, in the season finale of series 1, she leaves her job in kind of a dramatic way.
Yep.
And then in this one, it's kind of sweet in how they do it, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, she feels bad for, you know, quitting and she wants to go back. And then he also is like, oh, I'm an old asshole now because, you know, I let this girl walk out.
Yeah.
But after a couple episodes, we're just back to where we were in season 1. So
That's,
they
I think-
reversed all the character arcs.
That I
we
think is
got.
the big problem. I think that they wanted to do realistic, which is, in this economy, if you quit a job that's pretty sweet, if you're working in if you're getting paid to write in any newspaper, you've landed one of the plum gigs.
And I assume we're still following Lindy West's life a bit here.
Yeah. And I understand it, but I also feel like it's unfortunate because, it feels like the last season was all about like her accepting herself, breaking free of all these people who are holding her back, confronting her troll.
Mhm.
And then
That was
instead, it's like, no, she just rolls back on all that stuff and goes back to her life and goes back to this, is still with this
hate the
boyfriend who's
boyfriend.
just not worthy of her.
Which we need to see him do another irredeemable thing. So we have to watch him like work his way back because it's almost like they don't take anything seriously that he did last season.
Yeah.
Like now he's just kind of this lovable oaf off in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just
And-
dating the dude from Big Lebowski.
Yeah, last season they had the episode where he does acid with the dog,
Yeah.
which was sort of what
Weirdly redeemable.
redeemed him
Yeah.
in a weird way. This season, he's kind of he does a couple things. Have you guys gotten to the party where she gets super drunk?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and
Well,
he's
that's where she
holding
gets her job back.
and he's
Oh,
holding
the K-hole.
and he's
K-hole.
he's holding her hair back, and she's talking about how terrible she is, and he's like, no, and that's close to that moment you want from him, where he's like, he is there for her.
Oh
at
my
a
God, I
time.
broke your hair.
Yeah, he is there for a time when he needs her. But that really, it's like that's kind of baseline what you should expect. It doesn't make him a great guy; it just makes him a decent guy.
Well,
And then,
He did have a great moment when the smoke alarm's going off.
yeah,
And everybody's freaking out trying to turn it off. So he goes in the other room to get his gun. To smash the smoke alarm. And everybody's like, you got a fucking gun?
and I think the thing is that he's supposed to be sort of so dim-witted that you forgive the thing. You're like, he doesn't mean to do these things. He's just dim-witted.
I know he doesn't mean to do it. I still need more.
I
from
agree.
him.
And I will say this, since I know you guys don't care too much about spoilers, by the end of the season, she's done with him.
Good.
But the
'Cause
question
it
is,
drove me
will
nuts.
she still be done with him in season 3? Because now they've
they're
shown that
gonna-
they will just go back on things.
Yeah, that's true.
Season 1, I got to watch her find her strength and
Yeah.
this amazing positive arc. And then I know it's necessary, but season 2, we open with taking her back down several pegs.
This is like, the real world sucks.
yeah.
And you interview at this place that doesn't want you, and you have to be nice to your mom who's being shitty to you, and all these. It feels very real. Like, yeah, I get this. It's like you're compromising yourself a little bit to keep these people in your life, but it was so against the sort of triumphant finale of episode 6 of the last one that. Last time we got through 6 episodes, and I was like, oh man, I cannot wait to see more of this. I can't believe there's only 6 episodes. This time I got through 8, and I'm like, no, I'm good. And that's unfortunate. Like I liked it. It's not a bad show by any means. It's still got a fantastic cast. Daniel Stern and her mom are great. By the way, I don't know how deep you guys have seen this, but her dad's friend Ron.
Yeah.
Ron, why the fuck are you here?
Is it possible because they've definitely are doing sort of like queer themes and that kind of thing?
Is Daniel Stern got a thing with Ron?
I'm wondering if they're in a quietly in a polyamorous triad. And her parents just aren't telling her about it. Because Ron's there at a big moment later in this season where there's no reason he should be there.
Well, and Ron's going to stay like a week until the mom comes home.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I could just stay.
Mhm.
And
Ron, shut up.
That's what I think. I think maybe either her and Ron have a thing going on and her wife is okay with it, or the three of them are quietly together and they're not talking to her about it. And I wonder, that's the one thing that has me excited
Daniel
about season.
Stern seems to know why her mom has bugged out a little bit more
Yeah.
than he's letting on, where he's like,
Oh, yeah.
And that's the one thing that makes me want to see where season 3 goes, because Daniel Stern isn't going to be in season 3
Oh, he's not?
because he died.
Oh, what?
Didn't Daniel Stern die?
died.
Am I wrong?
We didn't get to the end. You're spoiling it.
No, I mean
no,
the,
in real
the
life,
actor.
Daniel Stern died?
Wait, what?
Yeah, didn't he? Yeah, he died in November.
Folks, everybody in the studio right now is
God
on their
damn
phones
it.
frantically.
He died in November of
Googling.
He died in November of 2012. Wait,
Daniels?
wait. That's a different guy. That's a different guy.
I
Okay.
was like, did
No,
they make this
he
show
did not
after
no,
die.
that?
Daniel Stern's still alive.
Okay. Who died then? Somebody Home Alone related
John
died.
Hughes died.
No, somebody from Home Alone died. I thought.
Chris Columbus?
No,
Macaulay
I
Culkin.
swear to God, I thought Daniel Stern had died.
Thinking of John Candy.
I'm looking.
John Candy's dead.
I'm looking to see, because now maybe I'm just crazy. Yeah, I'm just crazy. Okay, never mind. I thought I'd found something that they were
62 years young.
Okay.
So,
somebody else died.
The lovable oaf boyfriend character, I just remembered another moment with him that really cracked me up because it was like one of these jokes that was kind of like hidden in the background of scenes. I don't know if you remember in the camping episode when he grabs his bug out bag and he pulls the gun out from underneath the chair. He's sitting in the living room with his two roommates, and the one roommate is visibly sick in his coffin, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here! You know, like you're sick. Get out of here!" Da-da-da. And he just keeps like unabashedly yelling at his roommate. Later in the episode, he goes back to the hardware store where he's been fired, and there's a guy in the hardware store who's like, "You're not allowed in here. Get out." And he's like, "No, I'm a customer." That was his roommate.
Oh.
He's like, "Get out of the store. You don't work here anymore."
Amazing.
That's great.
And yeah, I kind of did a double take, but yeah, it was just kind of hidden in the background. Something disappointing out for me on this season, which this isn't necessarily, I think, a bar you have to hit with one of these shows, but when they do it, it's definitely noticed, and that is Shrill Season 1 had a killer soundtrack. I think that was the first time I'd heard Lizzo.
Oh, yeah.
There was like a handful of other tracks on there where I was just like, you get to the title credits or you get to like a certain scene and that song comes on and you're like, Shazam, I got to know what this is. And that happened to me several times in season 1. So I kept waiting for like that really good needle drop moment in season 2. And granted, I'm not all the way through, but I don't know that I found even one killer track yet.
The soundtrack to Shrill Season 2 the way I did Season 1 either, but I assumed it was because I started watching Shrill right after Sex Ed.
Yeah.
And
that has
that's not
amazing music.
Not a bad segue moment.
Do we
want
to segue? Yeah.
Sex Education over on Netflix is the needle drop you're missing.
Yeah. Man, that has a fantastic soundtrack. So this is one of those shows I forget how much I like. Like I knew I liked it.
When I saw a poster for it, it said nothing about whether it was a season 2 or what. And I honestly, I messaged a friend and was like, "Are you sending me a year-old ad or is that new?" And they were like, "Fuck, I don't know." And then we went on this hunt of like, is there going to be more sex ed? Yes. The answer is yes.
And it's glorious.
Yep.
It is everything we just said about Shrill Season 2, none of that's true about Sex Education. Like Sex Education is, and before we completely leave Shrill Season 2, I should say I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's a quick binge. It's a half-hour episodes, 8 episodes, but it's definitely a come down after that season.
Shrill is head and shoulders above most television.
Yeah.
It's just not as good as season 1.
Yeah. Which was one of the best TV shows of the year.
Yeah.
Sex Education, on the other hand, season 2 is a step up from a great show. Like it's already was good, and then there are the through line with the girl on the bus whose name I'm blanking on. God, I'm trying to find it. What is her name? She's her friend.
I think you mean the girl on the train.
Maeve's friend who like gets on the bus and a guy like masturbates on her.
I'm blanking on her name.
Yes.
She plays that so sweet. It's truly amazing. When she keeps bopping her boyfriend on the head.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you not want to do this?" No. I mean, why do you think that? He's like, "Because you keep slapping me in the face."
Oh yeah.
It's like she's not even conscious she's doing it. Like he's kissing on her and he starts to like move down her shirt a little bit and just.
Yeah. Amy is her
Amy.
name. Yeah. She early on in the season, she's on the bus and this guy masturbates.
And she says something like right then, like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah. And he like comes on her jeans. And so she goes to school and it's Maeve's birthday, and she's basically trying playing it off. She's like, "No, it's not a big deal. You know, he's ruined my favorite jeans." And Maeve is like, "You were assaulted," and takes her to the police for her birthday. That's like her thing. And they, of course, really can't do anything about it. And Amy sort of realizes she goes into sort of this PTSD where she probably wasn't going to write it off. She was in shock.
Mm-hmm.
And then she can't ride the bus. Like she keeps seeing this guy everywhere, and she's dealing with the after effects of a sexual assault that's not a what you see in standard TV shows, a rape or even like a violation of consent. It was sort of a
And she wants to play it off, and it just keeps messing with her.
yeah,
It's
and
really well
it's a
handled.
really good story. I also like the Maven Notice Will They Won't They. The way they did that, I thought was really
That is
well done.
beautifully handled, and feels very true.
And Otis and Orla.
Otis and Ola, like that's great. The shit with. At one point, Yakov looks at his Jean, his
Yeah.
mom, and says, "You aren't ready for the kind of intimacy I want."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Fuck, fair
Yeah.
enough."
Also, her coming to the school and being a counselor and fucking up his business
where-
is such a great twist.
Where the show this season almost fell off for me is part of the charm of this is that it's not whatever fantasy weird amalgam world they live in.
Yeah.
It's not quite private school. It's not quite public school. It's
Yeah.
not quite Britain. It's not quite the U.S.
Right.
And I know that annoyed some people, but for me, it let them kind of live in this really great magical world. That almost breaks under the weight of bringing her in to talk to kids because I grew
No
up in the
American school.
fucking
Yeah.
South. And she wouldn't just not be allowed to speak to children. She'd have her child removed from her home,
Yeah.
and then they burn her alive.
Yeah, this is definitely
For
a
this.
sort of a Britain type thing. Yeah.
And so that said, about the time that I was like, "Fuck, this is going to break under its own weight," it doesn't.
Yeah.
And what they do with it brings in Groff or
Headmaster Groff.
Headmaster
yeah.
Groff, and the way that they deal with his wife,
I love the storyline of his wife this season. Not
you-
just because I hate him and want him to
dealing
suffer.
with Adam's sexuality.
Yeah.
The entire masturbation scene where he keeps looking from side to side in the poster is fucking
Yes,
beautiful.
so
Um,
good.
Ola's
I was going to say
entire
one
thing.
of the things I thought they handled really well in Sex Education, because this could just be a titillating show, and it's
Mhm.
not. It is about they cover sexual assault, they cover pansexuality, they cover asexuality.
There's a lot of gay characters who
There's a lot
who
of
have
gay
different
characters.
levels of problems coming out.
Yep.
You had
They have a very sweet scene about a guy who wants to have his virginity, to do his anal virginity, but is worried about poop.
Yep.
And that's learned douching from a more experienced gay person.
And when
you will
the-
not see that.
and when the
that
kid looks
plot
at him
line.
and is like, "If you're not prepared to ask your lover about douching, you aren't
You're not
prepared to have his
prepared.
dick in your ass."
yeah, that was so good.
And like dead on.
It's funny because it's all very mature for high schoolers, and that is the one thing you got to sort of go into. Like, no high schoolers are probably this thoughtful about it. But
My favorite person on the show is still Lily,
oh, Lily's the best.
and that play is
The
so fucking Tommy weird. Like it
I
is
did
Romeo
not-
and Juliet erotic on the planet Verona with music by Styx.
the culmination of this season, they've been working on this. So one of the big threads is that the jock Jackson does not want to be a jock anymore.
Mhm.
He's tired of the pressure from his two lesbian moms, which is another little element there. One of whom is like she was not impregnated. She is just the mom, and she worries about that making her not the real mom. And so she's been pushing in to be a
she
swimmer
used to
because
be a
that's her thing. And so it's like their connection, and he knows that, and he's worried about losing it.
He self harms to
He
get himself out of it.
self-harms to get himself out of it. And by the way, that storyline about the girl in the debate who basically
That she just
throws away her friendship with him for his benefit.
that I fucking applauded.
Yeah, that was
And
so
she's like,
good.
I can't not have. I had to tell him.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, she knows full well what that's going to do to their relationship.
doesn't care,
and she
has
does it
to.
anyway. Yeah, that was really good.
Her realizing that the guy that she has a crush on
Is
is
a
fucking
douchebag,
worthless.
yeah.
And this show.
And the kid in the wheelchair. Like we're gonna talk about like disabled
Oh my
sex
God.
next season. Yeah,
and then they don't have him be a fucking saint just because he's in a wheelchair.
no, he's kind of a douche.
He's a dick too. He does
Yeah.
a fucking horrible thing.
At
Like
the
he does
end
an
of it, yeah.
unforgivable thing
Yeah.
for me at the end of the season.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But that play, so they're building up to this. Jackson's got the role as Romeo in the Romeo and Juliet, and they're doing rehearsals for Romeo and Juliet. Then you get to the end and find out, oh, it's not Romeo and Juliet. It's a reimagined erotic musical of Romeo and Juliet set on another planet. Everybody's wearing silver costumes. They have penis
Dick
hands.
fingers
And, that's because this girl wrote a crazy erotic sci-fi thing in the
and
first
she's
season.
doing the comic of that still.
And it's a great such a great reveal. And one of those things also, like, there's no way this would happen in any school.
No.
But,
it's
and I'm
fantastic.
okay with it. Who cares? Because it was great.
You know what it makes me think of? Sesame Street, but with sex, like Sesame Street. This magical place where we can explore these new ideas and learn who we are. As
I
people.
sat through this entire show just going, this exists for a kid right now.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah, for sure.
Well, actually, it's
I
interesting.
could be in high school and this could exist for you right now. Like,
Here's what I wonder. Is it for high school age kids or is it for junior high school age kids? Because whenever you have a show about high schoolers,
Oh, no,
it's
no,
for
it's-
the age group below.
It's definitely for high school age kids.
I
know.
hope, but I hope I'm seriously anybody. If you're in, if you have kids in 6th grade and you don't want to believe that they're thinking about sex or having sex or whatever, I'm sorry to pop that bubble. But you should have them watch this show as soon as possible. It's going to explain
you should watch
things.
it with them.
You should watch it with them. It's going to start conversations with parents and kids, I hope. It's going to explain things in a more clear way than anyone ever explained any fucking bit of this to me ever.
It's funny that it's about high school relationships, but it's so mature about relationship. People have these blow-ups, and then they have to be friends again. They have to live with each other. They have to talk to each other, and you see people are able to transition from being sort of passionate romantic relationships into friendships, and
they deal with being religious when your religion doesn't like you.
Yeah,
and then dealing with being atheist for a good reason.
Yeah.
There's a kid who's atheist because his family was run out of their homes over religious persecution by religious people when they were atheists. And so
they can have characters break up because not because of the bad guy. There's no bad guy. It's just that they weren't right. Raheem and Eric, they're a good couple. But they don't belong together long term.
Eric's family nails it.
Yeah.
You act like you're a little bit of a different person
You're
around
not.
him.
It's not you.
Yeah, you're not a Pablo Neruda reader.
Which is crazy because Adam is so in the closet that that should be bad for him.
Adam running up to hold his hand is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Adam's entire break shit area that keeps expanding as the girls find it.
Yeah.
The girls bonding thing over realizing that they have one thing in common.
Yeah.
This show, it's like it took a list of 50 topics that you would think, wow, any show would be lucky to handle one of those well, and then it just ticks down the list.
All of them. And amidst all of this, great characters, funny stuff.
Funny shit.
A well done plot with a ton of storyline. Like this is masterful TV.
Yeah. And the soundtrack. So I'm just going to mention one song. They use Ezra. I'm blanking on this name. There's a musician that does a lot of the music for this that I don't think I'd ever heard anywhere else, and he's just on season 1 and 2. I think he played the prom in season 1. They use a crazy amount of music.
Yeah.
But the show final episode of season 2, the needle drop at the credits is Chip Taylor, who's a country singer, doing a cover of Regina Spektor's On the Radio, and it sounds like a lost Rick Rubin Cash recording or something of a Regina Spektor.
It's so good.
It gut punched me. I mean, I sat there crying at the end of the episode of like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It's really, really good. And it's early. We're in January, but this is definitely on the best of 2020 list. This is going to be on
this
there.
show, these 2 seasons made me fall in love with Asa Butterfield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I liked him in Ender's Game because I wanted Ender's Game to be better than it was.
But he's the Fantastic as the lead here.
Oh, my God. So good.
Yeah.
And I want him and Maeve together
what
so
else
badly.
has he been in besides those 2 things?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Because he seems really familiar, but I've only seen 5 minutes of Ender's Game and a few episodes of the first season of this.
He was in Merlin. He was in The Wolfman. He was in X+Y.
Hugo.
Oh, that's
Hugo.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Hugo, I remember him from that.
Yep.
When I was going through my Chloe Moretz phase.
Yeah, he's really good.
So you're saying definitely watch Sex Education with your middle school aged kids.
Sure. Yeah. There's nothing kids love more than watching sex shows with their parents.
Hear me out for a second. I kind of wonder because I do believe in the way that I do believe it's programmed to where like especially when you're younger you look towards like older influences. I wonder if this show isn't actually for adults. Like viewing it through the gaze of like the dynamics of a high school, something we all understand, we all think about from our experience. But now, like, this is what I should, like, if I'd known this back then, I wouldn't have done that.
Oh yeah. We should definitely not take this to mean that like you're done learning about relationships and how to do this properly, and this is for kids. This is for almost every adult I know. Like we could all stand to take a deep breath and stand up for ourselves in relationships the way that these kids do.
Yeah, this is all about, like I say, consent, negotiation, all that stuff that adults could definitely.
And you watch the adults go through it. The amount of times that the whole divorce with the Groffs. And your father. The time for your father to fight for this family was several years ago.
And by the way, did we mention her name once in this talking about this? But
Probably
Gillian
not.
Anderson, is phenomenal.
She's
here.
great.
She's so good.
And her relationship with Otis is very realistic and shitty.
And she's damaged. Yeah, she's not the world's best mother. She's not the world's best sex therapist, and she's definitely not the world's best girlfriend.
Oh, and then all
But I
the
still love her.
bullshit with Remy.
Oh yeah, and Remy.
Oh my God, what a douche.
Yeah, her ex.
Her ex, his dad, and his growth realization about his dad, and
Yeah.
the pedestal he's put his dad on, and the things he thinks that are his mom's fault that aren't.
Oh, and we didn't talk about Maeve's mom.
Oh,
And the drug addiction
fuck.
stuff and the way that plays out. Like, by the way, Maeve did nothing wrong. Like, she was
No.
in the right.
Yes,
But it's still-
she's
it's
dead, and
just a
still brutal,
heartbreaker.
and it's
Yeah, there's a whole runner of her absentee mom comes back with her new baby
and
or her
you
new
know
toddler.
it's bad. You know it's bad the whole fucking
And
time.
her mom is like, I've cleaned up my act. I'm clean. She lets her start staying with her. Slowly but surely, Maeve's defenses go down, and she lets her mom back into her
And then
life,
you-
and they become
and
friends.
you
And you
can
know
tell
what's
her mom's
coming.
fucking
You
up.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it happening, and then she has to get proof, and
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and that's. I mean, there are so many stories. There's no way this much should fit into these episodes.
No,
but
and
it
it's all
does.
just beautifully handled. It's seriously, this is masterfully written.
In between all of that, there's usually an episode, a story of the week that they do where it's about whoever's sex problem
Yeah.
they're fixing.
Yeah,
So somebody learning to dirty talk, somebody learning to have anal for the first time. Like
trying to
there's
find a condom and not being able to, and
Yeah.
realizing you're about 96% sure you used a condom, and you should probably get a Plan B pill.
Yeah, yeah, that whole thing. Oh man, it's such a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommended. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for us this week. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Les.
Thank you, Randy.
And we'll be back with more. If you want to hear more of us talk about, I don't know, Star Wars, you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes, throw us a buck an episode, get on that Patreon feed, and listen to us talk about Star Wars or other things. And until next week.
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.